What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Support my hop back again with another video. Is it worth it now, since we are in 2025 officially, to be still looking to get a 2015 VQ 3.7 Q50? Let's get into it. Alright, so now I'm gonna hop into like basically 5 reasons you would and 5 reasons you shouldn't. These cars are getting older now, so just keep that in mind. 2015, we're on 2025, so 10 years, man. 10 years is a lot. A lot can happen in 10 years within a car's life. So you want to keep these points in consideration when you are looking for this car. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna go. Damn, that's a nice Z. We got the Nismo okay too, boy. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna give you just keep this in consideration when you are looking for this car. And at the end, I'm gonna give you my personal opinion if you should still pick this car up in 2025. Now that might change for 2026, but for 2025, from looking at the market and everything, and I'm gonna do a little screenshot because I did do a little quick little search of how much these cars are going for now, and they're pretty freaking cheap, not gonna lie. So you get some good deals out there, going based off of the list of pros and cons I'm about to give y'all right now. Then if you find a good one, hop on it, man. Let's start off with the good first. Let's start off with some good vibes. So first things first, cheaper, like I just said. Prices are ranging from, I'm seeing from $8,000-$9,000 all the way up to 23 now. I don't know why they chose trying to sell these cars at $23,000. It is not worth that. If you're paying more, I would stick between 9,000 and 15 max for this car now. Like I said, the car is 10 years old. It's still a VQ. It's pretty much outdated by now. The platform itself, but it still has potential. So if you really want to look for this car, just make sure you're not getting ripped off and you're not overpaying for this. But for the majority of the part, like I said, I'll put a little screenshot up here, a little scroll, so y'all can see what's on Car Gurus. I just check Car Gurus. That's the main thing I use when I'm looking at cars, is Car Gurus. And yeah, I'm seeing between 8,000-9,000 to all the way up to 23,000. Just if you're paying 20 something, you might as well just get a 3.0 T at that point. If you're paying more than $15,000 for this car, for the Infiniti Q series, then just get a newer one. You're gonna have less mileage. You're gonna still possibly be under warranty if you get a newer one. So, but overall, prices for these VQ model Q50s are still low. So if I'm seeing these prices, I wish I had looking for the Q50 at this time, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I still got a good deal regardless. So I still pay between around there, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. So just keep that in mind. Second pro to buying a 2015 3.7 Q50 is reliability. Now, preach this in majority of my videos about a Q50 versus 3.0 T or 3.7. I did a whole bunch of videos on that. Please go check those previous videos out if you want to see the exact breakdown of 3.7 versus 3.0 T, in my opinion. But reliability, it's no argument. Reliability of the VQ37. I'm pushing 143,000 miles right now. Bought the car when I was at 85,000 miles. And if you had followed my journey, or if you're new to the channel, go see what issues I had. I actually had a video of the issues I had since like 2 years of ownership. So this real quick, I had fuel pump, which kind of looks like the person who had the car previously would run this car all the way down to the light, and it gave out on me. So I had to replace that. That was less than $100 to fix. Popped the back seat up. Had a friend help me out and save money on that, versus paying $1,200 at the dealership for them to do the same thing. So, and I did do an upgrade of fuel pump. Other than that, the infamous valve body tends to go out on the 3.7 models, and after you swap that out, you have no issues then. Now, if you don't happen to have that issue, there's no reason to swap it out unless it happens. So just keep that in mind. Make sure it's about a $3,000 fix from Infiniti. And I would suggest just doing it straight through Infiniti. Don't try to buy another junkyard valve body from a junkyard or whatever and then try to cheap out. Had a friend that did that, pretty local to me, and he went through 2 of those, and then third time he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go through a dealership, and he never had an issue after that. So I would highly suggest just pay the money the first time, get it done properly, because it needs to be reprogrammed. The transmission needs to be flushed and all that stuff. Not flushed, but like it needs to be drained, obviously, and then refilled back up with the transmission fluid. So yeah, it's a lot to go into that. So unless you have enough space in your house and you're knowledgeable enough to do it yourself, then do it yourself. And it's about a part. The part itself is like between like $300 to like $600, somewhere around there. It's less than $1,000 for the actual part, but you're paying mainly for the labor. So just keep that in mind. But other than those two things, I never had an issue with this car. And especially been tuned for a good amount of time now, and I love every time driving this car. Just hearing that exhaust, hearing a 3.7 VQ rumble, I still love this car even to this day. 10 years later, I still freaking love this car. So, and yeah, man, this reliability, it's non-arguable. Even 3.0T guys say it, they wish they had the reliability, but they did, you know, the 3.0T route because of the more potential and least bang, not least bang for buck, but less money spent, but more out of how much they get to spend. So like, let's say $5,000 on a, you know, 3.0T versus a 3.7, the gains are a lot more beneficial on a 3.0T. That's just straight fact. But reliability, hands down, goes to 3.7. Hopping into the third thing, pro, is the modern look, man. Especially if you do the sport bumper conversion, if you do small little modifications here and there, rear diffuser, spoiler, side mirror caps, the whole nine. If you really do some nice tasteful mods on it, the look of this car is very timeless. You won't think this was a 10-year-old car, and it really shows, especially when you look up Instagram and you see all these modified ones, and particularly mine too. You know, I have carbon fiber hood fenders, sport bumper conversion, you know, front lip, the whole nine, whole lip kit, everything. And once you modify it enough to where you like it, it really never gets old. The look of this car is very timeless, and I feel like the next 30 years, and this car, if these cars are still around, it won't go out of fashion anytime. The front is so aggressive, the rear is pretty aggressive itself too. Kind of flows with the front and the rear, the back of the car, and yeah, man, just the looks. That's one of the main selling points of this car, regardless if it's a 3.7 or 3.0T. They both majority have the same look, and a lot of the parts are actually interchangeable as well. So if you want the newer look but have the older reliability of the VQ, all you gotta do is just buy the parts and swap it onto your car. There's no modifications needed, there's nothing needed. Everything just straight bolt onto the car. As long as you have all the correct parts that are for those specific years, you just bolt it onto the car and everything is good. So that's one thing. Shout out to Infiniti and Nissan for making that easy, because I know some other you know, if you want the newer look of a certain car, some dealers make it pretty difficult for you to actually upgrade it and modify it to where you know, want that newer look but the older style engine. So yeah, man, you know, the like I said, the look of this car, it's pretty timeless. So that's definitely a pro for this car. Hopping into the fourth thing, pro of a 3.7 Q50 in 2025 would be highly modifiable. You could modify this car down to the T. Like the other day, they just came out with a whole dash kit, digital dash kit now, that you can swap out and have a whole like LCD, LED, you know, dash, fully digital dash. I think it's like $1,300, $1,200, something like that. And yeah, I mean that just goes to show how modifiable these cars are. And does that mean a word, modifiable? Might Google that shit. I think it is. I don't even know. But yeah, I'll make it worse today, bro. Modifiable. But these cars are very highly modifiable, and like I said, down to the T. You can modify everything. Like I said, you get a carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber fenders, interior parts. You can cover everything on carbon if you want. Seats, pretty interchangeable within the years too. So like, say if you want a sports seat, all you need is, again, just the parts and the rails, and make sure you have the correct connections, and it goes swap straight in. Actually going to be doing that soon, because my seats, I don't even want to show that, but my seats ain't in the best condition, you know, and that's probably going to go into my cons list. That's a little sneak peek of the cons list. But these cars are starting to get older, so if you start, you know, modifying stuff here and there, it's actually going to help prolong the longevity of the car as well. So I even if you're not into cars like that, but just doing small little modifications, small little upgrades here and there, it's gonna help a lot in the long run. So the modification list is endless with this car, from exhaust, from tune, from turbo kits to supercharger kits to wheels, suspension, you name it, you pretty much you can modify. So you know, sky's the limit when modding these cars, especially the Q50 platform in general. Hopping into the fifth pro of buying a 3.7 Q50 in 2025 would be the potential. Now, kind of going based off of my con list, you'll see when I get to the cons, but we're keeping it on the pros right now, and it has potential, man. This car, the 3.7, the VQ platform, it's known for high horsepower builds. It's been the foundation of a lot of high horsepower builds. A lot of YouTubers love this platform. Crush Kicks, I think his name is Low Tech, JZZ3 or 33, I forgot his thing. There's a lot of people on the VQ platform that have proven that the VQ platform is a very good platform to, build up performance wise. Now it will cost a little bit more money on average, but the bang for buck, later on down the road, you're gonna be getting a lot more, a little bit more reliability of the VQ37, VQ35, whatever VQ platform you decide to go. But the VQ37 tends to be a little bit more reliable of the VQ series engines. So if you do the VQ, I would just suggest get the last VQ37, which came in a Q50s, the 2015 Q50s, and I'll go from there, man. But sky's the limit with this motor, especially if you got money. Money talks, man. You can make anything happen if you got money. So it's a good platform, man. It sounds good. Even if you just want to keep it as a clean daily, and then later on build it, which I'm planning to do. We're gonna eventually stop a turbo kit on this car. So if y'all interested in that, keep that in mind. But this car has potential. That's definitely gonna be a pro to this list, is the potential of the car itself, the motor, and so the transmission. Because once you start pushing more than, I would say, 100, 200, 300 over the 330 that we can get from full bolt-ons, after you get close to the 500 mark, you're gonna have to be replacing that transmission. So not so much transmission, but the engine itself, potential wise, is crazy. Now we gotta hop into the cons, man. So first things first, going back to the little search I did on Car Gurus. Like I said, this car is getting older, so the high mileage is gonna be up there. Like I said, mine is 143,000 miles. I bought mine around, like I said, 4 or 5 years ago, and it already had like 85,000 miles. So just keep that in mind. These mileage are gonna be pretty high. Now you can look at it as, a good thing, so where the car actually made it over 100,000 miles. So this is a good platform, a good reliable engine, good reliable platform for me to modify. It's cheap now too, so you can look at it as that. And if you do need to replace it, God forbid, knock or carbon fiber, if you ever need to replace it, you could just go to a junkyard and pull the motor or transmission from a 370Z, 370Z, G37, or a Q50 as well. So just keep that in mind. But these motors, they're getting older, and now, don't get me wrong, like I said, 3.7 reliability, you won't have an issue. Like I said, 143,000 miles, I'm not even stressing it. But then again too, I have the car that we built on our channel as well, the Toyota Chaser. That is a NA non-turbo automatic, 2-liter inline 6. But that car only has 55,000 miles on it. It was like 90 something thousand kilometers around there, so it was like 56,000 miles. And I can put this car down, save some mileage on this car, and use that regardless, because we're going to be swapping the motor out and putting a 2JZ in that car anyway. So it doesn't really matter how much miles I put on that car, because we taking everything off and out and rebuilding that car. So the Q50 itself, still baby girl. And like I said, how this channel does in the future here will be determined if I'm going to be doing a supercharger kit. I would love to put a turbocharger kit on this and see how much I could pull out of this 4 or 5 second horsepower. That would be nice for this car, I'm not gonna lie. Like, car is heavy, it's over about 4,000 pounds, but boost is boost, man. And especially it'll change the whole sound of the car, a little more aggressive, a lot more forced induction noises. So everyone likes turbos, man. Everyone loves turbo noises. But for a fact, we're putting 2JZ, full on 2JZ build into the Toyota Chaser, so stay tuned for that. But Yeah, these higher mileages, when you find one that's higher mileage, it's gonna be tend to be a little cheaper. So you can try to use that as a selling point, like, hey, this got a higher mileage, so you're gonna have to help me out with a price on this, and you might be able to negotiate a little bit more on a higher mileage one. Just again, just keep that in mind. If you're not really too keen on these motors or cars in general, have a licensed mechanic go with you and pay for a pre-inspection, pre-purchase inspection. I think that's what something it's called. And get the car inspected by someone that knows about cars, and specifically if you get someone knows a lot about these VQs, then that'd be your best bet. But inspect the car, look for any leaks, listen for any noises, any weird noises. It's supposed to be a nice, smooth, no RPMs dipping up and down, and no knocking noises, no ticking. I mean, the VQ has naturally like a little tick to the engine itself. If you open up the hood, there's a little tick. Everyone knows about that. But other than that, these cars, really shouldn't be an issue. As long as you did basic maintenance, and whoever had the car did basic maintenance, you should be fine. And even better if all the maintenance is up to date and they have everything documented. That's one reason why I shot the shot on this Q50, because everything was on the Carfax was done by the dealer all the way up to the day of purchase. I purchased this car, so that was really a selling point for me too, because I was like, all right, everything was done by the dealer. I already know everything should be good on this car, and not nothing crazy. So just do your research. Don't just buy the first one you get. Drive them around, listen to them, go to the dealers, and know how the car is supposed to run before you actually go ahead and buy it. So save yourself a headache in the long run. And the second con about buying a 3.7 Q50 in 2025 would be it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to find a cleaner one. Now, when I bought mine, it was still relatively new-ish, so the price was still high and this and that. But the ones I've been looking at, it's a little sketchy. You're gonna pay more attention to the car when you look at it, especially cosmetic-wise. Make sure the gaps are all even through the corners. Make sure there's no damage on anywhere, and if there is damage, make sure it's reported. It's not just saying clean Carfax and there's nothing, but then you can tell like the front has been replaced or the back has been replaced. That's how you know something was sketchy done. But just do your due diligence, look at underneath the car, make sure all the the clips are in place, no bumpers hanging off, no side skirt hanging off, and just make sure that the car is nothing cosmetically wrong with the car. Like there's nothing wrong if it is, but if they're trying to hide it, then that's going to be an issue, because then they're trying to hide something else that's bigger than the actual issue. Like, long story short, I had one time I went to one of those non-negotiable dealers saying I wanted to look for a Q50 Sport. I had them ship it from another dealership to their dealership that was closer to me. And long story short, I looked it up. They wanted about $24,000 for the car, no negotiation or whatever. So I had them run the place. They said they used auto check. They don't use Carfax. They use auto check, and they say it's more reliable than Carfax. And I kind of debunked them right in front of their face. So I sent the VIN number to one of my friends down in Jersey that deals with dealers, and he works with the dealers. So I told him, I was like, yo, I'm looking for this car, this and that. He's like, yo, just send me the VIN number real quick. I just want to double check something for you. Send him the VIN number. Text me back within like 5 minutes. Like, he's like, bro, walk out the dealership right now. That car has frame damage, front and back, and that car is only valued at like $10,000. Show them this and see what they say. Show them that you went in the back, showed his boss this and that, came back, yeah, nothing to say. He's like, we don't know how this happened. Would you like to still buy the car? I'm like, do I look like that I want to buy from you? Do you think I could trust you now? You guys, obviously you guys knew about this at some point when you're buying this car and throughout the dealership process. So I would highly recommend get away. Do not go to those no haggle, no negotiation dealers, because those are the ones that be selling the most screwed up cars for like double the price that it should be even. So just stay clear of those. Go to like a mom and pop dealership, or go to a dealership that would actually be willing to work with you on price, because those ones that putting price, they don't want to deal with people that actually know what they're talking about. So they just want people that are desperate and need to buy a car. So if you know what you're doing, you know what you're looking at, go to a dealership that will work with you, not those other, no haggle dealership, because like I said, these cars are getting older, and it's going to be hard to find a clean one and a legitimately clean one. So it's going to be impossible, but it's going to be a lot harder than it was about 5 years ago to when I bought mine. So just keep that in mind. Hopping it into, was that 3? Yeah, third con of the 3.7 Q50. Now going back to, this car is getting older. I don't even know how this happened. This came about randomly, and I don't even put my hand like here too often, but the interior is going to be aging. Keep this in mind, especially if you get one that's non-real leather. It's like pleather. I think the only ones that came with real leather were like the actual sport models. So keep that in mind. If you really want real leather, a little bit more durable interior, go with a sport model if you can find one that's clean. Now, this is a little sneak peek of what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so this just opened up pretty recent, not gonna lie. I just noticed this about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and now I have to replace this whole interior. I might just find a whole replacement for this interior, but yeah, just like this, it just tore up by itself. I don't know how it happened. How that happened is beyond me. But like I said, it just goes to show how old these cars are getting, and just keep that in mind. These they won't be the cleanest interiors, depending on how the person kept the car as well in the beginning. But even then, even if you do clean your car every week, that happened. I don't drink stuff. I mean, I drink stuff in my car, but I don't eat. I try to eat full meals. I don't, I try not to do too much in my interior. And all of a sudden, this random spot just ripped open. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. This interiors will be getting older, so you might be replacing some stuff when you get this car. And another thing too, I will put myself on blast right here, is the center screen. Completely unusable. Now, it's pretty cheap to replace this, because I seen on like eBay and stuff that they sell that for $100, maybe less than $100. So it's not a bad completely expensive fix, but you're gonna have to replace some stuff in these cars. Just keep that in mind. These interiors are getting older, depending on if they have, especially if they had kids or families and stuff. If it was a family car, you're gonna be replacing a little bit more stuff. So do your due diligence when you're looking at the car. Look inside the interior, see if there's anything worn, tearing, any stains, anything. Just look at the car. These cars are older, so look at the car inside and out. I'm not even playing. Open the trunk up, open the mats up, and sometimes they'll try to cover stuff up too. So pull up the floor mats if you need to, and they could be try to cover up some stains. That actually happened to me on this car. Somebody look like they spilled coffee in between the seat here, and there's like coffee stains in the middle of the driver and the center console here. So that's nothing. I cleaned it up myself, but it's these dealerships, man. They will do the minimum to try to put the car back on the lot and screw you over to as much money as they can. So don't let that happen to you. Make sure you do diligence and look at the interiors, because like I said, these interiors are getting older and it will start cracking. They're not the best. I'll put into the fourth con of buying a 3.7 Q50 in 2025 will be insurance. A lot of people don't take this in consideration, but insurance rates are going to be pretty high, especially if you get an older Q50, an older G37, 370Z, anything that's kind of sport related. You're going to be paying a higher premium versus if you get like a Civic or a Honda Accord, or a little bit more eco-friendly car. These cars tend to be in a lot of thefts. Apparently this car is pretty easy to steal if you don't have the correct precautions when you go to sleep at night. I've seen a lot of people on the Facebook page get their car stolen, so just keep that in mind. If you could install a kill switch, and even if you get tuned, you can install a kill switch through the ECU tune that they will put on there automatically. So if you get tuned as another pro, can have a program kind of kill switch in your car that would prevent the car from starting overnight, and then when you come out, you just kick yourself off that map and you'll be good. But yeah, so the theft in this car is pretty high in the US, and when they steal it, they like to take these cars to takeovers. It's sad to say, but these guys out here, these takeover kids, they're really ruining the car scene and ruining it for everyone else, especially the actual enthusiasts that want to build cars and enjoy the cars for what they are, not just steal cars and go freaking in circles in an intersection. That's still, low IQ activities, but that's another topic for another video. If y'all want me go into a little rant about these takeover kids, let me know in the comments below, man. I might drop a video on that just to put these little kids on blast. But yeah, man, the insurance is gonna be a lot high, and like I said, regardless, because of this car being almost 10 years old, once the insurance company sees that the cars are older, they tend to not really want to put you on their policy. Don't know why. I think they just want to make sure you have the most up-to-date car, and because then I guess that tends to be a little more reliable. You won't have any issues. So if you want an older car, they're gonna make you pay for a little bit more than, say, if you got like a 2023 Q50. Insurance would be a lot lower than that versus an older 2025. But yeah, statistically, yeah, these kids, they like to take these Infinitis, mainly like G's and stuff, but the Q50 falls into that too. I've seen some Q50s where they stole it and then they took it to car meets and they trash it, put it on fire, set it on fire, and this and that, and then they start dancing like freaking kumbaya around it. Freaking retards. But yeah, these cars, they're pretty high up in insurance, so just keep that in mind, especially if this one is gonna be like your first car. I probably won't suggest this getting your first car. Get someone that can be cheap, and then build up enough history with the insurance company to where, so if you want to get an older car, you're a bit more willing to keep you on the policy if you just get a older car. So just keep that in mind. Insurance is going to be pretty pricey on this specific model of the Q50. But yeah, man, so that's going to be your top 5 things to take consider. Well, actually 10, because I did 5 good things and 5 bad things, 5 pros, 5 cons. So that should be a good list for you guys to start and keep in consideration when you guys are going through your search for this particular car. Now, you got to be really a little bit more attention to detail when you're looking at these older cars. So just keep what I said in mind. If you need to make a list, I'll try to just drop the list in the description below, copy and paste it from my notes here, and so y'all can, when you're driving around, looking for these cars, you can just keep this list here, like, okay, do little check marks here and there. If it checks up, then you can try to make a good deal on it. But like I said, between like $8,000 to $15,000, that's the price I would pay for this car now. I wouldn't pay more than that. Even 15 is kind of pushing it for me, because I didn't even pay 15 in my car, and that was 5 years ago. So, and that was 85,000 miles, clean Carfax, and everything was up to date. So just keep that in mind as well. But yeah, man, so with that being said, good night, good morning, good evening, what time y'all watching this. We made this far in the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get notified every time I post a video. With that being said, man, always remember, repetition creates precision, y'all. Let's go.